Hi everybody, I'm Jay Pearce for the Photographer Academy, and today I'm being joined by Chris Whittle, President from Elinchrom, and we're going to be talking about the new Elinchrom baby. So Chris, this is it, the ELB 400. Tell us all about it.
Thanks, Jay. As we know, Elinchrom has been manufacturing lighting equipment for about 50 years. Of course, technology's moved us on very quickly, and what we're creating now is two ranges of equipment. One range which essentially is our entry-level system, the D-Lite RX1, D-Lite RX2, D-Lite RX4, BRX 215-500, all of those units work in exactly the same way, and therefore you learn one, you learn them all. And it's very easy for somebody to start off with a piece of equipment they most need now, and then add to it the system around that to enable them to do much more photography. That is, working faster, working harder, and essentially building a business around what may have been a hobby. Last year we introduced the ELC Pro HD, the 500 and the 1000. There was quite a discussion with Mark about ELC being Elinchrom Compact, and I alluded to ELB being something battery. And of course now we have the ELB 400, which is the evolution of the Ranger Quadra. Evolution in the sense that it now incorporates a lot of the special features that we had in the, or that we have in the ELC Pro HD units.
That's brilliant, because I mean, I remember one of the key things that when we looked at the ELC last time with you is that the simplicity now has been simplified in a way as well, isn't it? And I know you've incorporated that sort of working now with the ELB.
Exactly.
And that was one of the things that we really loved about the ELC, so it was great that that's sort of now flowing through the range, isn't it? I
mean, the core technology advances were a much faster recycling time. Well, this unit recycles now 20% faster than the Ranger Quadra did. We've got a much more simple control system, and again this has got the OLED controls here in exactly the same way as the ELC Pro HD has, but also we've got the special features to go with that, the stroboscopic effect, the sequenced flash and the delayed flash for combining daylight and flash in a kind of three-dimensional image where you're involving, or four-dimensional image where you're involving the concept of time as well as obviously the three physical dimensions.
So I mean that sort of poses the question really, because a lot of people were very familiar now with the existing Quadra. So let's talk about the key changes now, the upgrades if you like, the new, what's new and why we're going to move up, if you like. Yeah,
let me show you. I mean, the first thing is that, I mean, this is 420 odd watt seconds. It weighs 2 kilos. The battery has got 20% more capacity, so we've got 360 full power flashes in here. But you're not going to be using full power most of the time. I mean, to put that power in perspective, these are real Elinchrom watt seconds. So this unit is 1.6 stops more powerful than a recent competitor that's come into the market that is people are getting excited about. And 1.6 stops is really useful. I mean, the other thing is that we've got 2 power outlets on here, just like others in the market. If you're going to genuinely use two light outputs, 2 heads, you need to have a reasonable amount of power. So its compactness, the battery capacity, the sheer power of it is a really great starting point. We recycle to full power now in 1.6 seconds. Everything that Elinchrom do revolves around the concept of full flash curve technology. And the reason we do that is because we know that the full flash curve, we can manage the full flash curve to make sure we get very accurate exposure, very accurate color, and where particularly with some of the special effects, we've got multiple images in the same frame, for example, stroboscopic effects, where images are compared side by side within the same frame, the color has to be the same and the exposure has to be correct, otherwise it just doesn't work. So this is a core principle of Elinchrom. But in terms of the other features, we've done a bit of tidying up. Some people were concerned that it took a little bit longer than they would have liked for us to unscrew the caps on the top, so we've now created a new top panel arrangement where this is a quick access flap. We've got a micro USB socket on here, which enables us to do firmware updates much more quickly. We've got the sync connector, which we had before, but we've moved the Skyport antenna outside of the pack. Inside, we've got the next generation of Skyport receiver, so that will enable us to do some very clever things further down the line when people are wanting hypersync and that kind of thing. And the display itself is much more simple. The buttons that we've got on the top of here are the on-off button here, the menu button, the modelling lamp button, and then we've got 2 function buttons here. Remember, the nice thing about the OLED display is that the function buttons can have multiple functions. This isn't a simple LCD screen, which is either illuminated or not illuminated. This is a proper OLED display where we can dynamically change the function of some of these buttons to make it much easier to work your way through the menu. The most important thing of all with this pack is we found that when we moved from the lead gel batteries to the lithium-ion batteries, one of the biggest challenges that we had was that we have to manage every aspect of the lithium-ion battery to make it safe and to get the certification for air transport, etc. Yeah. So within each lithium-ion battery there is a microprocessor board which monitors the total history, and that was the reason why, if we just look here, there was a battery readout on the battery itself, as well as being a battery readout on the top of the pack itself. The display on the battery was always much more accurate because of the microprocessor giving the full information, so it could give real time the battery capacity where the pack itself was only measuring the voltage. Because of the microprocessor being driven all the time, it was very important, and is still very important, to recharge batteries once you've finished, before you put them away after the job is done, and then to charge the batteries again just before you set out, if they've been left for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. If a battery went into a deep discharge situation, because there could have been a fault with the battery, we had to turn the battery off because, again, to have all the accreditation for safe air transport and so on, those are the rules and regulations. What we've built into this pack now is the capacity to resurrect a deep discharge battery. Wow. So if perchance you forget for any reason to recharge your battery, this unit will resurrect a deep discharge battery.
So the resurrection of the battery, that's a big deal, I think. You know, I've never known any battery available to do that, so I think that's amazing. So the kit itself, so if we're starting from scratch, we're going to talk about compatibility with older models and so on, because the Elinchrom range is great and its versatility. If we're starting from scratch, we're going to buy this. What are the kits that are available or going to be available?
Okay. I mean, if they've got an existing kit, they can obviously just add an ELB 400 power pack, and then they get all the ELB functionality with everything else, with all their existing quadri equipment. If they're buying a kit, all of the ELB 400 kits come only with the lithium-ion battery, although they will work, of course, with the lead gel battery. There is the one-head kit, which includes battery, pack, charger, Skyport transmitter, and one head. There is the two-head kit, which simply adds to that a second battery, a second head, and the case. In terms of the choice of the heads themselves, we've got the A head for action work, which gives you the very shortest flash durations. We've got the what was the S head, which is now the Pro head, which will give you about half stop extra light output because it's a little bit more efficient, but also the Pro head has a slower flash duration, so that's really the hypersync head as well. There will be additional heads that will become available in the fullness of time, but obviously people will see those as and when they arrive. In the same way that as far as the Skyport's concerned, there will be add-on features to Skyport to enhance hypersync functionality, etc. If you want to make what we used to call a twin kit, you would simply take two one-head kits and put them together. If you do that, we'll give you the bag to put it in free of charge. The most important thing is that because it is a modular system and it's very, very portable, if you want to buy, for example, a two-head set, which is giving you about 420 odd watt seconds, and simply add one extra pack, Skyport will enable you to control the two packs together, and it gives you the equivalent of 800 watt seconds.
And the advantage to that is, and when we did it recently just with our existing quadras, is obviously we had a 4-head shoot on, and obviously we were able to do two heads from each pack, but we were able to separate them, work them at a distance, and create the light, effectively creating studio lighting sets on location, which was amazing. And I think that adds into our love of Elinchrom, the versatility and the compatibility. And we would quickly mention now before we finish that the fact is that anything that you existingly have works across the board, isn't it? I think that, and what I thought was interesting earlier, you were just saying some of maybe the earlier Quadra heads might need a simple upgrade to be compatible to the ELB, but you were talking about a simple board change that was next to nothing in cost and convenience.
When we first moved from lead gel battery to lithium-ion technology, the very earliest of the lamp heads needed a board replacement, which I think the cost of the board is about £20. When we introduced the lithium-ion technology, the very earliest power packs themselves needed a new control panel on the top. And again, that was just a simple top board, and the price of that was about £80. So at the very, very worst, if you want to integrate ELB 400 into an existing system, you might have to replace a board in an existing Quadra unit to use the lithium-ion batteries, and you may have to replace a board in an existing Quadra head, but otherwise everything's compatible. And I think for those people that were, of course, loyal customers, all of that was labour-free.
It's brilliant. I mean, one of the things that we've noticed just from having our hands on this for the first time, it's slightly smaller, it's a little bit more compact, it's much lighter, and the fact that you've given us more power, faster duration times, and the simplicity in the control now, even though it wasn't particularly difficult with the Quadra. Again, the fact that you've refined that and made it much more user-friendly, it just seems to get better and better, and really, really impressed with that. Fantastic insight into the new LB400 today with Chris. We're going to be doing now a more advanced user's guide, so that's one to be checking out. You'll be able to see that also. And the previous films that we've made for the ELC that we've got on the site as well. So take a good look at those. As I said, the Elinchrom range, the compatibility and the versatility is incredible. That's why we use it. And just wanted to thank you, Chris, for coming in and sharing that with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Bye now.